Remember here that you're not celebrating the relationship, you're respecting her role as mother and helping your children acknowledge and celebrate that too.
Welcome to the Dad Central Show, the podcast that helps overwhelmed dads conquer stress, build confidence, and become the father their family brags about. Join Drew Solon, a leadership coach and father of 5, and Ed Gow Jr., a fatherhood advocate and contributor to the Good Men Project, as we guide you through the journey of fatherhood. We'll show you how to connect deeply with your family, manage your time and energy better, and master tools to become the dad you want to be. Let's get started. What kind of message are you sending your kids about love, respect, and gratitude by how you show up on Mother's Day? Studies in child development show that kids model emotional behavior based on what they observe from their parents, especially how parents treat each other, even after separation. Demonstrating appreciation toward a co-parent can significantly shape a child's emotional intelligence, empathy, and future relationship matters. So today on the Dad Central Show, we're going to be talking about Mother's Day special, honoring her, appreciating her, and leading with gratitude. And we need to reframe Mother's Day as a teaching moment, a culture-setting moment in your home. It's not just about flowers or gifts. It's about leadership. And we're also going to acknowledge different situations today: married, partner dads, co-parenting, separated or strained relationships. So as we get ready for another great episode, remember, you are watching Dad Central, a parenting podcast to reduce stress and build confidence in fatherhood. Our show is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, because Dove Men Plus Care believes that care is the best of a man, because when men care for themselves and others, there's a positive impact. And also, we'd like to answer some of your questions, so send them in to us. podcast@dadcentral.ca. Drew, what are your thoughts on this topic before we get into it today?
Oh, hey, Ed. Good to see you. And Mother's Day is coming close. A couple interesting, fun things about Mother's Day. I usually think of it's kind of like, the time that the summer's coming around. So I get excited about that because I certainly enjoy the warmer weather. But to answer your question, Mother's Day, it's important. I mean, I think I say that every podcast, right? For these conversations, it's important. Well, what am I saying? The tone that we set for how we treat our children's mothers is, I think, really important for them. It's modeling respect. It's modeling honor. These are really crucial because I think they're the foundation of healthy relationships. And so even if, and we're going to address the different circumstances, even if you have different circumstances, modeling healthy relationship behavior, I think, is just a really important aspect of our role as parents. Maybe you haven't had the best experience yourself, but and this is why I'm so passionate about it, is because I want my kids to have something different, when they grow up. I don't want them to have the type of, let's say, brokenness or dysfunction that some of our generation or the generations before us went through, because it's quite painful. So those are some of my thoughts wrapped in with my personal experiences.
Excellent. So during today's conversation or show, we're going to be talking about honoring your co-partner or co-parent, and also when the relationship is strained, also guiding kids to express appreciation, and then strengthening emotional culture at home. And then we'll address for separated dads, landing with dignity and boundaries. So Drew, let's kick it off about honoring your partner or co-parent.
Yeah. Well, this is, the foundation of a healthier relationships is showing honor. If you are in a married relationship, or you're in a relationship where you and your partner are together, you've got a great opportunity to set the tone and show your children how to honor their mother on Mother's Day. And that can be a combination of what you do for their mother, or how you work with them to honor her, and ensuring that they are taking time out to tell mom how much she means to them, or that they're doing something special that they know is really important to her, and you're helping facilitate that. So I think the key here is to really focus on honoring mom on her day so that she feels valued, she feels very special, she feels like her role as mother is recognized and appreciated, because any parent knows it's sometimes a thankless job. So at least on one day we hear from those who are in relationship with that they value what we bring to them. I mean, I feel like that's the bare minimum we can do. So a couple key ideas is, you can verbally acknowledge mom in front of the kids, letting her know how much she's appreciated, how important it is that she feels honored on Mother's Day. You can, rather than sit back and waiting, and I know this is coming on Thursday before Mother's Day, so if you're listening to this as it's come out, you still have a day or two to take some initiative and be ahead of the game, not last minute everything, right? So plan the day, plan with the kids what they're going to do, or maybe even doing some good listening in the lead up to understand what she really does want. What would help her feel like her Mother's Day was unique and special for her? And that might be maybe time away from the kids. It might be time with friends, or it might be time to be pampered a little bit. Who knows? So I would say those are some things that you can consider in terms of honoring your partner. Of course, if you're in a different situation, and we're going to talk more specifically about this later, those can be harder, but I think bare minimum, helping your children acknowledge their mom on Mother's Day and express their gratitude and appreciation to her.
That's good stuff. I just want to add some things that Drew shared with us. Take the initiative if you can. Plan the day ahead of the time. Don't ask, just plan it. Go for it. Just make it happen. And then giving your partner the time and space to relax that day. Rest equals respect is really, really important. And as Drew said, do it in front of the kids. Because remember, as we said at the beginning, research shows that kids watch and they replicate. So if you can do that, really important, any of those things. And also remember, your kids are watching how you value your mom. So let's move on to our next conversation piece, when the relationship is strained. Drew?
Yeah, this is my situation. I can talk both from our notes, but also from lived experience. The key is that it's not about my feelings towards the individual. It's about the kids and their relationship with her, as well as her role in their life as mother, right? And so what that looks like when the relationship is strained is, if I am communicating, which we won't really be communicating at all on Mother's Day, but if you are communicating with the mother of your children, you want to keep it neutral, very respectful. Do not enter into any conflict or criticism, especially in front of the children in and around Mother's Day. I mean, in general, you shouldn't, but certainly not around Mother's Day. And you want to ensure that your children, if they're interested, or you even remind them so they don't forget to celebrate her on Mother's Day. That's just the bare minimum. And so, I will be doing that for my kids, right? And remind them of these days. Mother's Day is coming up. What have you planned? If they need any help with it, I'm here to help them, and we just go from there. So simple, practical things. You could just help them get a card or a little gift, or you can, if you choose, depending on the nature of your relationship that you are communicating, then you could send a simple, respectful message. And I think that goes a long way, especially if it's a separation. Certainly, if it's more amicable, or if there isn't the level of high conflict and real animosity that's part of my situation, then I think it's really important that you're able to do that as well. Because again, not about our feelings, but showing honor and respect. And, mom still has a very important role in their life, and to be acknowledged is very, very valuable. So remember here that you're not celebrating the relationship. You're respecting her role as mother and helping your children acknowledge and celebrate that too. Now, this is a simple, I totally forgot this, but I'm going to throw it in here now. Also, remember, we have our own mothers, right? And so maybe we'll talk about it at the end, acknowledging and celebrating our own mothers on Mother's Day too.
Absolutely. And we've touched a little bit about this throughout the conversation so far, but next point is guiding kids to express appreciation. Your thoughts?
Is there anyone who does not like to hear they're appreciated. Hey, Ed?
Don't think so. It all starts we all love to be loved.
Right, exactly. And so if it's not a regular part of what you do, either for your children or for those who are close to around you, I would encourage you to take that first step around Mother's Day as an opportunity to start something new. But teaching our kids how to express appreciation is important. Simple things you could do is ask them a question either in front of mom or before, and then help them put it on paper. And what do you love about mom? And then help them create something. It could be that card, it could be a handwritten note, it could be a drawing. They can make a video, depending on the age and stage of kids. The other thing is you can say make it experiential. Say you all start the morning with, a breakfast for mom, and you encourage everyone to share their gratitude for mom at breakfast, right? Or there's another way that you can build a ritual into, maybe it's after breakfast, you all go do something. And in that, there are these special moments where there's a thank you, mom, for what you've done or for here from each of the kids. That could be something, right? Anyways, Ed, I'll let you talk about some of the other positive impacts that go beyond Mother's Day when you're able to help kids learn how to show appreciation.
Sure. No, thanks very much. Some things, make it experimental. So maybe showing gratitude at breakfast during Mother's Day. That's a nice thing. Also, sharing memories of thank you moments. All these things in front of the kids, small things, but big things. And the long term impact. These things that you do, even if it's one of them, are going to have long term impact with your kids because they're going to see that and they're going to say, wow, he loves my mom. And he's showing it and he's saying it really big. And also, it strengthens parent child bonds because it's an act that brings families closer together. So it's so, so important if you can, even if it's one thing, start off with one of the things that we've mentioned here today. It will strengthen, it'll go in the right direction of strengthening family bonds. So let's talk about strengthening emotional culture at home.
I think that's many of the comments we've shared so far in the show would essentially be doing this, right? And I mentioned just a few minutes ago that if you have not, taught your kids to show appreciation, or if you have not been, focusing on honoring and respecting mom in front of the kids or helping the children do that, this could be a reset point. You can, from this time forward, use it as an opportunity to introduce some simple habits that are setting a positive and honoring attitude at home. So it could be weekly gratitude for mom or for each other. Often siblings, and we've got 5 kids, so we see a lot of the conflict, but siblings don't often take the time to share with each other what they appreciate. Wouldn't it be powerful if that could be something that everyone does? Hey, as a brother or as a sister, here's something I really appreciate about you. Plus, as parents, or what you as parents appreciate about your kids. That's a really powerful thing, helping set a positive culture. And really getting in the habit of saying out loud what you appreciate. This is very similar to what Dr. Fabiano talks about in terms of catching your kids doing something good or speaking out the strengths in your children. I mean, that is it's very powerful. And if you just do it once or twice, it's great. But if you do it consistently, it becomes part of that culture. And I think that's really valuable. And so we've said this before, dads, it's up to you. You can help set the emotional tone in your home. You can become that thermostat, setting the temperature as opposed to a thermometer, always reacting to what's going on around you.
All right, and let's close out with our last point. And I know you've talked a little bit about this through personal experience throughout our conversation today, but our last point for separated dads, leading with dignity and boundaries.
Whatever's going on, everyone deserves respect, right? And I've gone through some pretty painful, hurtful things in this dynamic that I'm in, but it doesn't change the fact that respect is still important, and it models for your children how to handle difficult circumstances or difficult relationships. Boundaries, I think, are so crucial because they help protect you. They protect your health, your emotions, your well-being. They protect you from getting triggered, going into unhealthy places. So I think that's, if you're not familiar with or recognizing the value of setting boundaries to protect yourself and keep out of, let's say, unhealthier dynamics and interactions, then I would really encourage you to learn more about that. Great book called Boundaries by Dr. Henry Cloud and Robert Townsend. Great resource. And then ultimately, it's, as always, it's about the children. How can we focus on what they need and what's best for them? And I think that's important. So we've talked about this. I'll just mention a couple key points. So what it really looks like in practical terms is, don't overstep the boundaries on Mother's Day in particular, but in general, and don't force interactions that you need to have with the children's mom. Keep everything as simple and appropriate as possible, and avoid any conflict or making the day about absence or issues that are adult related, and protect the kids from that. So I like this quote or this comment, and it's the way we'll wrap this part up, is that ultimately your integrity on hard days is what defines your leadership.
Facts. Love that. Love that. So as we start wrapping it up today, let's go over what we covered. We covered honoring your partner or co-parent. Also, we talked about when the relationship is strained, and we delved into guiding kids to express appreciation. Then follow that up with strengthening emotional culture at home. And then finally, for separated dads, leading with dignity and boundaries. Key takeaways. Remember that gratitude is a leadership skill. It's not just a feeling. Then kids learn how to love by watching how you treat their mom. Remember that they're watching. Then you can show respect you can show respect without agreement or closeness. And then small intentional actions create lasting emotional impact. And then finally, Mother's Day is an opportunity to build, not break, family culture. And then finally, this Mother's Day, don't just go through the emotions. Lead with gratitude, show your kids what respect looks like, and create a moment they'll remember for years. Drew, what's our resource we have for our family today?
So before I get into the resource, I wanted to come back to our own mothers. And, some of us are fortunate to still have our mothers. If you do not have your mother in your life, or there's difficulty or strain there, again, I'm really sorry to hear that. But for those of us who have our own mothers, the kids are watching that too. How do you honor your own mother on Mother's Day? So the similar principles that we just talked about, I think, would apply to our own mothers. And I want to remind dads, remember your mothers on Mother's Day, and add them into this mix as well. So the resource, Ed, for Mother's Day, we don't have anything specific, but I think our Dads Renovate Your Relationship, 14 tools to build healthier relationships, is probably a great resource. It's got valuable tools and tips that would help build, again, a positive interaction beyond Mother's Day.
Excellent. Well, as always, want to thank you for giving the most important thing, your time to hang out with us. And as always, share it with other people. Give us reviews if you're listening, or like it if you're watching it on YouTube. So as always, don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace, and we'll chat with you soon. Be well.